Mark Daniels, thank you for joining us. Are you part of this contingent that's saying, "Look out, world! Here come your New England Patriots, the playoff bound"?
I'm optimistic, but playoff bound, it's until I see the guys actually practice in pads, it's for me it's impossible to say. I think I'm too logical. Maybe I'm too logical for the radio or TV sometimes. I think like if you go
Oh,
from you go from four, you're like, oh
Well,
great,
thanks for the
what have you
time.
want?
Jesus
You know,
Christ! Stick to the fish
right?
wrap.
Yeah, right. Like, this is fun. But like, you won 4 games the last 2 years in a row. For me, it's like the first thing is can they get back to respectability and get close to 8 wins again? Like if they finished 8 and 9, I think it would be just a huge win because that just means they're playing better football. Come later in the fall and you're getting closer to 500. I mean, for a team to go from 4 wins in back-to-back seasons to like 9, 10 wins would be amazing. And you're
Yeah.
talking
See,
Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year stuff. I wonder how often that actually happens. So for me, it's more like, all right, yeah, 4 wins better. I think would be great. Maybe that's in the playoff hunt, But I think from what I've seen practicing in shells, they're better than they were last year. Just depends how much.
okay, so I'm on the same page as you, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, if you win 7 games, you're in the playoff conversation until like December. I think
Yeah.
realistically, if you're in the playoff conversation into December, that's a victory for this team. And then that means that your defense has been good. Maye's played relatively well. And then next offseason, you can fix your deficiencies at receiver and continue to tweak your offensive line. And then you're talking about maybe winning the division. So I would be happy if I was a Patriots fan with 7 or 8 wins. First of all,
Yeah.
7. I mean, just the I don't know how this team, even on paper and anything, has gotten 5 wins better than last year. By what? What they did in free agency? By what? Drafting a left tackle? I mean, Drake Maye is a young quarterback. He's going to make mistakes. He doesn't have the offensive talent around him to make up for that. I can't conceive how this team would make the playoffs. And the AFC's loaded. Oh, well, their schedule sucks. Well, we don't know that their schedule sucks. With their schedules, then halfway through the season, you'll go, oh, no, the schedule's, you know what I'm saying? The division's
Right.
not terrible. So, I mean, it seems unrealistic, some of these expectations.
You think like was it 2020 to 2021 when you went from Cam Newton and you had that big free agent year and they went 3 wins better, right? You went 7 and whatever it was, 7 and 9, 7 and 10, and then you had the 10 and 7 year with Mac Jones. You made it to the wild card. I mean, that was a big jump back then. I mean, a 3 win improvement is a big jump, and also with their offensive line was so bad last year. You're right. We don't know how Will Campbell will look in pads. We don't know if Morgan Moses at age 34 will be the answer. We still don't know who's going to start at left guard. There's a lot of answers with the offensive line protecting Drake Maye. The fact he has a new OC, a new quarterback coach for his second NFL season, and the weapons thing, right? Like we don't know how Stefon Diggs will look, coming off an ACL tear, and we don't know if Jalen Polk or Kyle Williams will make it. There's a lot of questions on offense to sort of declare, hey, they're back and they're gonna make a push.
Here's something else I've heard, Mark, is that people are giving a certain number of wins to this team above what they've done in the last year or two based on different factors. As a supremely logical person, do you engage in this same exercise? Do you give them 2 wins for having Vrabel as the head coach? Do you give a win for having Stefon Diggs there as a, let's call it, their version of a number one receiver? And by that calculus, is that how you get maybe as high as 8?
Yeah, I'd say their roster's so much better than it was last year. I mean, their free agent additions. I mean, on defense, they added starters to every level with Harold Landry, Milton Williams, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis. I mean, their defense should be good. And that's, of course, if they stay healthy. That's the other aspect of this in all of the NFL. You have to stay healthy. But their roster, comparing, contrasting to what I saw in the spring last year to this year, it's honestly night and day. Like, do you remember last year? It was like Gerard Mayo kept talking about like cut down day and how they had a high waiver claim and they could add talent, which really is just ridiculous. How many teams add talent on cut down day? But like, The Patriots roster was so bad last year. They were talking about, oh, we have a high waiver claim and we can add people who can help us. That's not really the case here. They actually added players in the offseason. They didn't swing and miss in free agency. They spent a lot of money. So I'd say just on paper, they should be better because, yeah, one, they have a better coaching staff. Absolutely. It's not close. But also the talent on the roster is definitely different this year. And I thought that was evident in the spring and OTAs and in minicamp.
Mark, I wanted to ask you about the draft class. We talked about this right before you came on. Will Campbell's obviously a day one starter at left tackle, but the next three picks, Travion Henderson, Kyle Williams, and Jared Wilson, what are the odds all three of those guys are starting by November?
Yeah, definitely possible. I'm telling you guys, I'm so excited for Travion Henderson, and I'm not lying. He might be the fastest running back I've ever seen practice, and I know it wasn't in pads, but it's a different speed. And when you're watching an NFL practice, everyone's a pro athlete. For a guy to stick out that much, I'm really excited for what he can do. So it wouldn't shock me at all. And Kyle Williams was already practicing with Drake Maye, and the receiver competition is going to be crazy. You have some good guys who could get cut there, but Kyle Williams could definitely help the team because his strength is beating man coverage, and it's what they couldn't do last year. And Jared Wilson's is a question mark because we didn't see him this spring at all. But I wonder, if one, could he push Garrett Bradbury at center, or does he factor in at left guard? I mean, I'd say it's a good start for them for what we saw in the spring. It's, I don't know, cautiously optimistic, right? I mean, when's the last time the Patriots had a draft class where like four guys started? It feels like it's been forever, but it's definitely a possibility.
All right. So who's got the most pressure on them? I mean, you talked about Drake Maye,
Yeah.
and it's not just, you can't just be dazzling this year from play to play. I mean, you got to be consistent. Now there's pressure on you to win, which is a totally different thing. There's a lot of pressure on him. Who else are you going to be keeping an eye on during camp?
Yeah, a wide receiver for me, Javon Baker and Kendrick Bourne. I mean, Javon Baker was practicing with the second and third team in the spring, and that was without Stefon Diggs, Matt Collins, and Jalen Pope practicing. Bad sign, slow start for him. If he wants to make the team, he's really going to have to shine. I mean, that's a lot of pressure, but I think he could be on the chopping block. And Kendrick Bourne, Josh McDaniels likes him. I think it's really clear, and he can be a good player. But if the Patriots release him, it's like they save over $6 million. So when you're, a 30-year-old receiver and you're competing with six other players and your contract is I'd say maybe not player friendly in that sense, there's definitely going to be pressure on him. But the receiver competition, guys, I'm excited about it. There's a lot of question marks, but Matt Collins, Stefon Diggs, Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas, Jalen Pope, Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, Javon Baker, and in this undrafted kid, Efton Chisholm. I mean, how many of those are going to make? We're talking 5, 6, right? And you have a lot. I mean, I think they have like a dozen receivers, so that'll be fun. And another name I'll throw out there is Anthony Jennings. He wasn't with the starters in the spring, which I thought was a surprise because he was a good player, but in Belichick's system and Gerard Mayo's defense, the defense scheme has changed a lot. So there'll definitely be some pressure on Anthony Jennings.
Is it a shock to you that Stefon Diggs appears to be a full go for camp tomorrow morning?
Yeah, right. It's great news for the Patriots. I thought he'd probably start on the PUP list, and that's not unusual for a guy who suffered a torn ACL at the end of October. But they placed 7 guys in the NFI or the PUP list, and the fact that Stefon Diggs isn't one of them, it's huge. And he said his goal is to start week 1, and I thought that was really aggressive, but I guess not. I guess it looks like he'll be out there come tomorrow, day 1. That's huge news for the Patriots. We didn't see him really in a full team practice, but the way he moved was just different. Even for a guy who's over 30, again off a knee injury, that's exciting news. Honestly, it's going to be one of the big things to watch.
All right. Well, Mark Daniels is going to be out there today as it all gets going, and maybe there'll be a difference between Vrabel and Mayo. Who knows?
I think so.
Who knows what will be going on? Mark Daniels, always appreciate it. Read him on MassLive.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.